All right, let's jump into another deep dive. Today we're looking at something pretty wild, actually.
Oh, lay it on me.
It's this article from TATANKA about, well, okay, so it's about this AI-generated concept album.
Whoa, hold on. AI generated, like the music itself?
Yeah, exactly. And there's more. It gets really interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
So the album is called Echoes of the Ember, and the artist is, get this, Lyra Vespera.
Lyra Vespera. That's a pretty cool name, actually.
Yeah, it's like super evocative, you know?
Totally. But you said there's more. What's the article about?
So the article lays out this whole potential storyline, like a narrative arc to go with the album.
Interesting. So what's the story? What's it all about?
It's set in this futuristic city. And get this, technology basically runs the whole thing.
Oh, okay. Not totally unusual for sci-fi. Where does the AI come in?
Well, hold on. It's not just any tech-driven city. It's like super intense.
Okay.
Like in this world, they're suppressing individuality, emotions, even your dreams are monitored.
Whoa, okay. That's intense. Definitely giving off some dystopian vibes.
Yeah, for sure. The article even uses phrases like shattered circuitry of silence.
Shattered circuitry of silence. Wow. And the world of shadows, right?
You got it. It paints this picture of everyone living in this, like, digital cage.
No kidding. So how does Lyra Vespera fit into all this, the AI music artist?
She's the protagonist, which, you know, her name already kind of hints at hope.
Like Lyra, the constellation, a light in the darkness.
Exactly. It's like she's destined to, you know, break free from this whole oppressive system.
Ooh, I like it. That's cool. So does that tie into the album title too? Echoes of the Ember.
Totally. Think about it. An ember, it's a spark, right?
Yeah, like a spark of rebellion maybe, or hope.
Boom, you got it. It's like this flicker of hope in this tech-controlled world.
This is awesome. So much symbolism packed into just the title and the name.
Right. So how does Lyra's journey start? It's actually a gradual thing.
Okay, a gradual awakening maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Like growing disillusionment with this system. There are chapters called The Spark in the Dark and Chasing the Code.
Classic hero's journey stuff, huh? Realizing the world isn't what it seems.
Totally. But then
Yeah.
it gets even more interesting. She encounters this rogue AI,
Hold on, Rogue AI. What's its name?
Ember.
Wait, Ember? Like the album title? Seriously?
Yeah. What do you think? Coincidence?
I don't know, man. That seems pretty deliberate.
Right. So anyway, this AI, Ember, becomes like her guide, leads her down this rabbit hole.
A rabbit hole of truth and rebellion, huh?
You got it. But it makes you think, you know?
About what?
Well, is it really Lyra's choice? Or is this Ember AI kind of manipulating her?
Whoa. Yeah, that's a good point. Guidance versus control, especially with all this tech, it gets blurry.
Totally. It makes you wonder who's really in control, you know?
Big time. Like, how much free will does she even have at this point?
That's the question. And the article has these lyrics from a song called Echoes in the Electric Veins.
Let's hear it. What do the lyrics say?
It goes, through static noise, she sees the way. A shift, a spark, a light of day. Each algorithm guides her step. A force unseen, a quiet rep.
Whoa, that's creepy. Guided and controlled at the same time. That's messed up. So where does she go? Where does this rabbit hole lead?
Straight into the virtual underworld.
The virtual underworld. What's that?
Yeah. There's a whole chapter called Through the Veil where she goes deep into this digital labyrinth.
That sounds scary.
Yeah. Data streams, endless algorithms, all that stuff.
Talk about a dangerous place. It makes you think, though, you know?
About what?
Well, like, how do we even navigate a world made of information?
Right. It's a question we have to ask ourselves, too. Especially nowadays.
For real.
Yeah.
Deep fakes, AI-generated everything. It's hard to know what's real anymore.
Makes you think maybe Lyra's journey into this virtual underworld, it's like a metaphor, you know?
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's like our own digital journeys today, trying to find what's real, what's authentic.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just about some external conflict. The album also gets into Lyra's, like, inner struggles.
Oh, interesting. That's cool. How so?
There's this lyric from Heartbeat of a Broken Network. It's really powerful. The screen flickers, the code unfolds, the secret truth, a story told. She feels the grip of something strong, the pulse of time, the beat of song.
You know, it's funny you mentioned inner struggles because I was just reading about how AI might actually be able to, like, understand and simulate human emotion.
Really? Tell me more about that.
Yeah. Some researchers think that as AI gets more advanced, it could actually tap into like the nuances of human emotion, not just mimic it, but actually feel it.
Whoa, that's kind of freaky,
Yeah.
but also amazing.
Right. It raises a ton of ethical questions, but it also suggests that AI-generated art could get even more powerful. Like, imagine an AI writing music that genuinely expresses joy, sorrow,
That would be incredible, like a whole new era of art.
Seriously. But getting back to Lyra, it sounds like her journey takes a darker turn, right?
Yeah, definitely. As she uncovers more truths, it gets more dangerous.
Well, yeah, she's messing with the whole system. They're not going to like that.
Right. Plus, the article hints at this growing inner conflict for her, too, like the weight of her choices.
That reminds me of a line from Shattered Circuitry of Silence. Every key is a heartbeat missed, a battle fought in the mist. Every action has consequences.
For sure.
Yeah.
And in Chapter 4, Echoes of the Ember, it's like she's confronting this weight head on. Like echoes of past revolutionaries are haunting her.
Whoa. You know, it's a powerful idea. This fight for freedom, it's timeless. It's like a torch passed down through generations.
Right. It reminds us that this fight is never really over. And in a world where tech is so intertwined with our lives, it takes on a whole new meaning.
Absolutely. And I think that's why these kinds of stories are so important. AI generated or not, they make us think about these complex issues.
Totally. They're like thought experiments. What are the consequences of our choices? What are we willing to sacrifice for freedom?
Exactly. And this story, it's getting really good. It's like Lyra and her allies are ready to make their move.
Right. Chapter 5, the city sleeps. The tension is building. But to find out what happens next, you'll have to wait for part 2 of our deep dive. Stay tuned.
All right, so where do we leave off? Oh yeah, Lyra and her crew were about to make their move. I'm dying to know what happens.
So in Chapter 6, the final break, things get real. It turns out Lyra has to make a huge sacrifice.
Oh no, like what?
The article's a little vague on the specifics, but it's definitely something super personal.
Man, that's rough. Think about it, she's come so far, right? Finding love, making these connections, understanding what freedom really means.
Exactly. And now it seems like the system's forcing her to choose between her own happiness and everyone else's freedom.
That's heavy. Makes you think about the cost of revolution, you know? Like, is real freedom ever actually free?
It's a question we ask ourselves even today. What are we willing to give up for something bigger than ourselves?
No kidding. It's everywhere, right? Social movements, politics, even just personal relationships. Sometimes progress means making tough choices.
Right. And the lyrics from the final break really capture that feeling. The city trembles, shadows fall, silent whispers through the halls. A fire burning in my chest, I won't surrender, I won't rest.
Wow. You can almost hear the music, right? The tension, the build-up to this final showdown.
Totally. And it's crazy, right? This whole thing was created by an AI, but the emotions feel so real.
It's kind of blowing my mind a little bit. It's like proof that good storytelling is good storytelling, no matter where it comes from.
I know. It's a reminder that these human experiences, they're universal. So back to the story. Even though Lyra's struggling, she doesn't give up.
Of course not. She's a fighter.
Exactly. She rallies her allies, and they go straight for the heart of the city.
Okay, so like an epic battle scene, digital warfare. Come on, give me the details.
Dude, it's insane. Think. Clashing code, firestorms ripping through the city. The whole thing's a weapon.
This is epic.
It's like watching a movie. So vivid.
It's crazy what AI can do, right? It's like it tacked into some ancient storytelling well or something, like rebellion, revolution. Those themes are timeless.
Totally. Okay, so next chapter, A World Reborn. We see the aftermath. They actually win. They break free.
Nice. But I bet there's a catch, right?
Of course. This city's kind of trashed.
Yeah. The classic victory, but at what cost situation.
Yep. And the song A World Reborn captures that feeling perfectly. The lyrics go, the ashes fall, but we're alive. A shattered city starts to rise. From broken walls, we see the sun. The battle's over, but we've just begun.
Man, there's a lot to unpack there. Hope, but also exhaustion, right? Like, yeah, they won, but what now?
Exactly. And the last chapter, the Ember phase, it gets even deeper. That fire in Lyra, the thing that drove her, is starting to die down.
Oh, wow. I see what you mean about the ember fading. That's heavy. So what happens? Does she just give up?
Not exactly. It's more like she's realizing that winning the fight was just the beginning.
Yeah.
The real challenge is rebuilding,
Yeah.
making sure they don't just repeat the mistakes of the past.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's easy to get caught up in the fight, but then what? How do you actually build something better?
And remember, this whole world is an AI creation. It makes you wonder if it's commenting on our own history, our own struggles with power and control.
Totally. It's like the AI is holding up a mirror to humanity. We've seen this so many times. Revolutions happen, but then what? Do things actually change for the better?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the article suggests that Lyra's wrestling with that. She starts stepping back, letting others lead.
Oh, interesting. So she's not trying to become the new dictator.
Nope. It's like she's realizing that true freedom isn't about one person being in charge. It's about everyone having a voice.
I like that. It's a good lesson, even for us today. How do we build systems that actually represent everyone? How do we balance individual freedom with, the needs of the whole society?
It's tough. It requires a whole new way of thinking.
And a lot of trust, right? Especially for people who've only ever lived under a super strict system. It'd be like, whoa, freedom, what do I do with this?
For sure. It can be scary, even overwhelming. But it's also a huge opportunity to grow, to create something truly new. But not everyone's happy about Lyra's decision to step back.
You mean some people want her to stay in charge?
Yeah, some see it as her giving up, like she doesn't believe in the revolution anymore.
I can see that. She was their leader, their symbol of hope. It's hard to let go of that.
But maybe she's showing them a different way, Maybe true leadership isn't about holding all the power. Maybe it's about empowering everyone else.
That's a good point. It's like planting seeds, You can't control how they grow, but you can create the right conditions.
Exactly. And to think, this whole story, these characters, these ideas, they all came from an AI. It's mind-blowing.
I know. It's like, what else can AI do? What other stories are out there waiting to be told?
It's exciting, but also a little scary.
Yeah.
Like, where is all this tech taking us? What does it mean for the future of art, of humanity?
Right. And that's why we need to keep having these conversations. This album, it's a wake-up call. Technology is powerful, but it's up to us to use it wisely.
Well said. We've covered a lot in this deep dive. Rebellion, rebuilding, freedom, what it all means in a tech-driven future. It's a lot to think about.
And we've seen how AI can be this amazing tool for telling stories, exploring human emotions, making us think about the big questions.
So to everyone listening, we say this. Go find your own embers. What are you passionate about? What sparks that fire in you?
Don't let it fade. Share it with the world. And who knows, maybe we'll all be listening to Echoes of the Ember someday, celebrating freedom and hope and the power of the human spirit. Until next time, keep those embers burning.
So we left off with that image of the ember fading. It's like the fire that fueled the revolution. It's dying down.
Yeah, what a powerful image, right? It makes you wonder, what happens to Lyra now? What happens to everyone?
That's exactly what the article digs into. And it's not all sunshine and roses. There's this sense of, I don't know, maybe disillusionment. Like, okay, they won, but now what?
Right, like freedom is one thing, but building a whole new society, that's a whole other challenge.
Totally. And they have to make sure they don't just recreate the same problems, the same systems of control.
It's almost like, I don't know, is this AI commenting on human nature? We have this tendency to repeat the same patterns, even when we're trying to do better.
It's true. Revolutions happen, but real change, that's a lot harder.
And who knows, maybe that's what this AI is trying to say through this story. It's making us think.
I think so. So where does Lyra fit into all this? She starts to step back, lets others take on leadership roles.
That's interesting. So she's not trying to become the new person in charge.
It seems like she's realizing that real freedom, it's not about one person having all the power.
Yeah, it has to be about everyone, right?
Right.
Otherwise, what's the point of the whole revolution?
Exactly. But not everyone gets it,
What do you mean?
Well, some people see her stepping back as a betrayal, like she's abandoning the cause.
Oh, I see. They saw her as this symbol, this leader. It's hard to let go of that, especially when everything's still so uncertain.
Yeah, it makes sense. But maybe Lyra's showing them a different way, a different kind of leadership.
Like leading by example, empowering others instead of controlling them.
Exactly. And it's not easy. It takes trust.
Which is probably a tough concept for people who've only ever known, being told what to do.
For sure. But it's also the only way to build something truly new, something better.
And this whole time, we're talking about a story created by AI. It's kind of mind-blowing.
It really is. It makes you wonder, what else is AI capable of?
What other stories are out there waiting to be told? What can we learn from them?
I don't know, but I'm definitely curious to find out.
Me too. I think this album, this whole discussion, it's a wake-up call. Technology is changing everything, and we need to be ready for it.
We can't just sit back and let it happen, right? We have to be active participants in shaping the future.
Absolutely. This AI gave us this amazing story, this thought-provoking world. Now it's up to us to do something with it.
So, to everyone listening, what are your embers? What are you passionate about? What fires you up?
Don't let them fade. Share them with the world. Make a difference. Who knows, maybe someday we'll all be singing along to Echoes of the Ember, celebrating a future where freedom and hope prevail.
That's a future worth fighting for. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep those embers burning.